Hey everyone, welcome back to Return to Self with myself, Tanya Ray Bethune. Thank you for joining me again today for our episode number 17. Today I'm talking about the power of separation. I want to ask a question. Have you ever felt like God was pulling you away from some people, certain places, or even certain versions of yourself, and it didn't feel good? It felt like loss, confusion, or maybe even loneliness. What if I told you that wasn't rejection? That was God calling you back to yourself. So today we're talking about what it really means to return to yourself and how sometimes it begins with separation. There was a season in my life where God began to call me out of certain places, away from certain people. And if I'm honest, it didn't feel good at first. It felt like loss. It felt confusing. But then I began to understand what the scripture means when it says, come out from among them and be separate. That wasn't God trying to take something from me. It was God trying to return something to me. So sometimes healing isn't possible in an environment that causes pain. You cannot hear God clearly when your identity is being shaped by everyone else's expectations. That separation was necessary. God was calling me out of what was familiar to bring me back to what was true, back to who I really am, back to the parts of me that got lost in trying to belong, trying to be accepted, trying to be everything for everyone. That season wasn't isolation, it was restoration. It was a sacred space where God was healing me, renewing my mind, and teaching me how to choose myself again. And the truth is, separation will stretch you. It will reveal what you were attached to. It will show you where you were overgiving, overextending, and even abandoning yourself. But it will also introduce you to a stronger, more grounded, more self aware version of you. So if you're in a season where you feel like God is pulling you away from certain people, certain environments, or even certain versions of yourself, don't fight it. That may be your confirmation. You're not being rejected, you're being repositioned. Because sometimes returning to yourself begins with being willing to come out and be set apart. And here is another part of separation that we don't always talk about. You have to come to a place where you understand everybody is not going to accept you. Everybody is not going to like you. And you have to learn to be okay with that. Because when God begins to separate you, it will disrupt relationships. It will shift dynamics. It will expose who was connected to you based on who you used to be and not who you're becoming. And if you're not secure in who you are, you'll be tempted to go back, to shrink, to people please just to feel accepted again. But this is where your growth is. You have to accept that not being accepted by everyone is a part of your transformation because your obedience to God will not always be understood by others. So don't fight the separation. Don't resist the change. Embrace what God is doing in your life, even if it's uncomfortable, even if it feels lonely at times, because this is the space where you are becoming. And this is the season you have to make a decision to keep choosing you, to keep choosing your healing, and to keep choosing the version of you that God is calling you into, even if it means walking alone for a while. Everybody won't go with you into the next version of you. And that's okay because where God is taking you require a different level of alignment, a different mindset, and a different you. So don't you go back just to be accepted. Move forward and become. Be blessed. And again, always stay encouraged. Have a great day.